I really want to break down like why the dating industry is, especially in the coaching space, is kind of fucked up a little bit. Why I say that? Well, it's because there seems to be extremes going on, right? Where one extreme, it's not even dating coaches, but it's fitness coaches preaching that only looks matter, right? As soon as you build like a Hollywood body, you're gonna get the girls, man. I mean, you just gotta lay back, kind of kick it back, and girls gonna come to you. On the other end, it's no, looks actually don't matter at all. It's all about having game, right? Knowing how to raise your emotions, right? Push, pull, DHV, all these like pickup terms, right? Which can be good in and of itself because it pushes you to socialize and have more volume, which ultimately you will meet the right person. Whereas on the fitness side, yes, you do need to get your body dialed in because usually when you have a good body fat percentage, you have good musculature, you start thinking more clearly, right? Because you're not feeding your brain, you're not feeding your body with crap, right? And then, as you think more clearly, you're more present, have more self-confidence, right? And it's just the way you carry yourself creates more longer lasting first impressions. So first impressions, are very important because this is kind of like the first 3 to 7 seconds, whatever they say these days, like how long does it take before she makes up her mind, right? But yeah, I would say it's not one or the other. It's like, guys, why not fucking both, right? It can be both, okay? But where I would say is the starting point would be you, man. It's for you. Your health. Your health is first, right? Because it affects all the other facets of your life. You could work on game right away, but if you have a high body fat percentage and you don't carry yourself with confidence, what's going to happen is that yes, you may get better as you get those cold approaches, up your volume and all of that, but you're going to have to go through so much volume to get like a few good interactions. And I'm not saying if you're good looking, all your interactions are amazing. What I'm saying is that, if you don't have high self-worth deep down and you go and you think having game will fix all these problems, you're in for a surprise. Okay, so it's all about having it all, guys. This is why I'm doing YouTube, building a personal brand around that, because I want to fix that. I want to build fucking anti-fragile men, okay? This is not like a self-help kind of channel. This is like literally a rebuild. We are rebuilding you from the ground up, right? First thing, obviously, it's gonna start with your body. So, the big thing, guys, is today, I'm sure you all know, our testosterone is like the lowest it's been. It's the lowest it's been. I'm walking around in the city I'm in right now, Quebec City. I'm in the military, but when I do hang out on the weekends and stuff, there's just this, and I'm not saying all the guys, don't get pissed off if you're from Quebec, but a lot of people, just their demeanor, how they walk, the guys, there's this feminine aura, right? And just the body shape almost looks like a pear shape also. You got the man boobs hanging out. It's just not a good look. You probably don't feel good, man, within yourself. Yes, I get it. I'm sure we're all thinking about that great pickup guy from a certain channel, the good old days. But, quite honestly, when that guy started out, don't get me wrong, I think he was quite leaner and looked good. And yes, that guy is amazing. He did lots of volume. Like he figured out the game, right? But it's not going to work on everybody. What I'm saying is that, you do need to take care of yourself. It's your health. I mean, you want to do this for a long time, right? You want to find the right person in your life, and you want to have the energy to sustain that relationship, whether you have a business in the future, have kids with that woman. You want to have energy. You want to have good self-worth so that you can teach your kids that, health is primordial, right? So what I was going with this is that, yes, fitness, nutrition, it is the first component. Because the big wins, once we can raise your testosterone levels by, modifying your body composition. So increasing your lean mass, decreasing your body fat, ideally below 15%, right? 10 to 15% would be a good range. Sub 10, I mean, we're getting really into the aesthetic side of things. But as far as 10 to 15, you can really get the best of both worlds, because when you get too lean, sometimes you lose energy, you become a bit more lethargic, and everybody is affected by that differently. Some people can rock 6% body fat year round, but I would say like 10% is quite a good look. Like I'm about 10.8% right now, okay? So, and I feel great. I mean, good physique, right? A little bit of stomach, a little bit too much hair, but I think I look quite athletic, quite lean, right? And my posture is good, so I work on posture as well. You got to carry yourself, as you work out, right? And working out, there's a lot of posture correction type of drills that you can do to help that as well. And when you have a better posture, you can carry your voice a bit more, because the primary control, as we call it, is around the neck. So if you're always like this, it's going to affect your voice. But if your neck is loose, right? If you can move it like this, and you just take a deep breath, really use your lower abdomen to speak, get air on your chest, right? And it's almost like you have a voice coming from both the head and the chest, the diaphragm and all that. So it's almost like you got to control your breathing so that you don't let too much air out, but still keep some at the same time. So it's a slow burn of your hair. And and you knowing also how to use different tones, different cadence, volume, and pairing that up with storytelling and all that, it can really sort of become the full package externally, right? Because you look better, your voice projects, but there's also the internal, right? So just to recap, we skyrocket your testosterone, we change your body composition so that we can sustain that. Also, nutrition, it's not just about calorie deficit, surplus, all of that jazz. No, it's having a strategic nutrition plan so that we can feed your neurotransmitters properly, right? So that your cognitive focus increases. You really focus, you have energy, you have less crashes throughout the day, especially in the afternoon, right? And also determining for you what will be the best diet for you, right? Everybody has a different diet. And I don't like the word diet, because diet is, most of the time is something unsustainable, right? So we want to make something sustainable for you so that, quote unquote, your diet can go on forever, on your day-to-day life. And obviously, we need calculated nutrition to do that. So we need to track stuff in the beginning and all that to get you dialed in. But then also it's about teaching you how to keep that year round, and also kind of have the skill to eyeball everything and not having to, import all the food in your app, scale it, and so on, so that, wherever you are in the world, you can stay lean, muscular, and maintain your focus, because you know what food is good for you, what food is bad for you. Nutrition, big thing, right? And also I touched on voice, right? How to project your voice, how to use your voice, how to incorporate some like storytelling aspects, and how to be captivating with your voice and all that. So voice is a big thing, and learning improv, things like that is massive. I am still learning. I would not call myself an expert, but I think it's such a huge valuable skill. Because if you can learn how to talk and talk, right? I mean, communication is a big thing. I mean, that thing right there can get you a lot of money, right? And can get you a lot of girls as well, you know? So talking, being captivating really sets you apart because not a lot of guys are using that, okay? And then, you know, another component would be, I mean, this is more inner game, guys. Like a lot of you, and myself included, I mean, I'm 30 now, but most of my 20s, man, they were just spent trying a bunch of different things, right? Just trying to get that shiny object. Whether it was Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Instagram ads, drop shipping course there, a business mentoring course, and then maybe crypto. I can go on like Facebook ad, how to build Facebook ads, and just a ton of different courses that I thought would make me successful, especially on the business side, because I wanted to get rich, wanted to get rich online. But the problem is, it's almost like I wasn't following my true purpose. And I'm sure a lot of you guys still don't know what is your actual purpose right now. And I know that's completely normal because, since we're born, we're fed with like external factors, right? We're fed so many different things, especially with social media. If you grew up in the 2000s, I mean, you were pretty much born with it, and it's a big problem these days, right? Because it's almost like you're listening to people on how to live your own life, right? And you're at a point, you're not even sure if you're living your life or someone else's, right? And that can kill your inner game because you're so anxious all the time. You don't know if what you're doing is aligned with your purpose, right? So you constantly question, second guess yourself. Add on top of that what we touched on first, the nutrition, the fitness. If you don't have that dialed in, I mean, your cognitive abilities just drastically go down. You think less highly of yourself. It's almost like you're always indecisive. Because when you have low testosterone, it's like you don't take risks, you don't make decisions. You're kind of like, you're soft, man. And that kind of snowballs into the inner game where you don't even know what the hell to do with your life, right? And the whole goal of this, I would encapsulate this obviously as mindset, inner game, and trying to get to your traumas. I'm not saying you were traumatized as a kid and all that, but there's little things showing up that maybe you're not aware of that is sort of preventing you from having a clear understanding of what your purpose is, right? And I inspire myself a lot from the book Reality Transurfing, right? That's an awesome book. And it really gives you a perspective of how to think more about you, your life, and why are certain things showing up, why all of a sudden you're encountering like bad luck after bad luck after bad luck, and how to break out of that, and what are the right questions to ask yourself, if this is the right goal for you or not. So a big thing is having your heart and your mind aligned. Sometimes, we just rationalize ourselves into achieving such goal. But we know deep down sometimes that the heart is not aligned with what the mind is saying. So that's a big component we touch on. And also how to visualize that goal, right? How to break it down correctly so that, we're not just writing it down on a piece of paper, but we're really breaking that down all the way from your higher purpose on your day-to-day activities, what you're going to do, and how it can serve the ego in some way. I learned that from one of my mentors, Owen Cook. And this was deep work. I mean, it takes a while. to write it all down and figure it out, but it is a valuable exercises. And then once you're clear with your goal and you're clear about the consequences of not achieving that goal, this is where, we can start creating slides. And slides, are basically the life that you want, as if you've already achieved it. So we create slides like that so that every morning, every evening, we can visualize that as if we've already achieved our goal. And then, and then after that, you act with intention. And, this is a very deep topic, it's very surface level right now, but also say that mindset is hugely important, because if you don't know what you want from the business side, from relationship side, to your health side, and all of that, it's gonna just affect you negatively on all the other aspects, right? And us men, don't get me wrong, I think we all want similar things. We want to feel valuable, we want to have purpose, we want to make money while doing it, and you want to create meaningful connections, right? With the opposite sex, also with our friends, family, and generally be happy and healthier, right? And most guys have one of these things missing, if not all five, right? So, yeah. You see how it's not just about game or looks, it's about the whole fucking thing, right? And ultimately, this will help you but regain your full charismatic self, right? Because charisma, it's all there is. Everybody can have that skill. It's basically just being your full self and unlearning all the bad shit that you've learned since childhood, right? Because that's all there is. The thing preventing you from having charisma is the tensions in your body, and also all the limitations that you set on yourself, your limiting beliefs, fear of being judged, guilt, fear. All these elements are creating these tensions in your body, preventing you from expressing yourself in your full charismatic self. Okay, so that's the general idea, but we have to learn where are these tensions, okay, how it affects your vocal tone, right, and also your kinesthetic modes, or your body, how you move yourself, and also the facial mode, right, your face. There's a lot that can happen with your face, how you express these emotions and how you communicate, right? Because you can feel very good on the inside, or you can feel a certain emotion, but if this facial mode can't really express it, the message is not going to come across as good as what you're thinking inside. So I'm not saying to be like this and fully expressive when you're talking with girls and something like that, but having the ability to really tap into your emotions and use that, and really eliminating your tensions. You're going to feel so present. You're not going to feel stuck. You're not going to feel these tensions. And when you go out, you're going to feel free. You're going to feel good. It's like, hey, how's it going? And you raise your hand. They look. Your eye contact is relaxed, natural. I know it's weird right now, I'm talking to the camera. But when you feel good within yourself, when there's no tension in your body, right? You're not like this, or your voice kind of sounds like this. You're just free, man. Feels good. So, these are major aspects that plays into how you deliver your game when you talk to women. So, body, voice, charisma, your inner beliefs, your mindset, and then, obviously working on the game, socializing, right? And how to read women, right? How to understand their biology, their nature, and all these social dynamics but from the moment you meet her, from the moment, you get her contact information to a potential meetup, from when you start dating frequently to when you get in a relationship, and how to keep the spark going in the relationship, and how to really hold your frame. Holding your frame is the most important thing, right? On all stages, right? So that plays into your inner beliefs, how you think about yourself. Because frame, all there is how you see your reality, right? This is how I am, you know? I know what I want. I know I'm a cool guy, and everybody would, reject me or not wanting to talk to me for whatever reason. It is totally their loss, but it's fine. I'm gonna go that way. This is who I am. I know what I want, and I know what I deserve. So it's kind of like your reality that you're telling yourself. And if you tell yourself something negative, well, you're gonna have a negative life, right? And also, frame plays into your boundaries, right? Because every day, man, people are testing your boundaries, right? And when you give those concessions, right, when you sort of like break your frame to appease to somebody, well, slowly they start losing respect for you, right? So holding frame is very important, because if you do that with a woman you're dating and you kind of lose your frame and you start falling into hers, this is where she starts pulling away, doing these shit tests a bit more, and next thing you know, she's chatting up this other guy and says like she wants a break. She doesn't think this can go any longer, and she needs to work on herself. She hates herself, and it's not you, it's me. I don't know where I am. I'm not at this point in my life where I don't think, I'm 27 now. I don't even know what I want to do in my life. And then they start crying so that, you feel empathetic towards them and all that. And it's a bad scenario. And then you chase even more. She pulls away even more. And that's the end of it. And then for months on end, you're asking yourself, what the hell have I done? And you're clueless. You don't even know what you've done, right? But it gets shattered by you losing frame, right? But it's not always the case. Sometimes it's not about you. Sometimes it's about them, right? Sometimes it's maybe they're avoidant. Maybe, they have certain fear of attachments, right? And that's more on the trauma side of things for them. So don't always take it personally, because these women, they're attracted to men, masculine men. But that same thing is what makes them pull away eventually, because when things are starting to get real and, there's no there's no drama, there's no abusiveness or whatever, well, they think that that's normal, the abusiveness and all of that. So what you have, the realness that you have with her, is sometimes what makes her, fear, rejection, or just fear of being abandoned or something like that. And, sometimes it's not always the case, but you do have to pinpoint early so that you don't get hurt, and you just keep moving on with your life. So obviously, avoidant attachment style and anxiety attachment, all this stuff is a bit for me right now, it's on the woo-woo side. So it's still something I'm trying to understand, because I did have a few moments into my life where after watching videos on this topic, I was like, damn, that is sort of exactly what happened with this girl. And, it's funny because after watching a video like that, I think my next 3 girls that I dated kind of ended on that note where there wasn't any closure, any goodbyes, anything like that. It's like all of a sudden, boom, disappear. And obviously, as a man, why chase? Why try to get an explanation or something like that? If they pull away and they've made the decision that they don't want to be a part of your life, and they pull away, they don't communicate with that with you, and they're like, that's it. The ball is pretty much in her court. That was her decision. And no amount of texting or trying to understand what's going on is going to bring her back, man. The only thing that can happen is that either she ghosts you, or she gently puts the blame on you. Not really saying like you said this, you did that. It's more like, oh well, I thought you were over me or something like that, or I tried reaching out, but and then you're clearly she didn't, just pretending something happened by accident, technical issue on the phone or something like that. So I mean, it never helps try to understand it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I really went on a rant because I think it's important. And as I'm documenting this from the fucking shack, I mean, my goal, guys, is to take this to a whole other level, right? Create a community where we hold ourselves accountable. We work on all the pillars I talked about, right? And we have weekly calls. We brainstorm ideas. If we read an amazing book, amazing resources, we share that to the group. And on the fitness side, I mean, I have a bachelor in kinesiology, and I'm, in nutrition. I am certified. So, I mean, just that alone, you can build the body you've always wanted, right? And you can maintain it year round. And just from the nutrition knowledge that I've learned, I mean, I feel so much more focused right now. Like, it's insane. Like, I'm 30 and, I have way more energy than when I was, 22 or something like that. And it's not just about the food and the timing and of everything, maintaining your blood sugar and all of that. It's also the supplements, taking way more herbs, minerals, vitamins. And, I think I have found one of the perfect combinations to really, have the highest testosterone possible naturally, but also during my workouts and, when I'm not working out also. A combination of supplements to really help with blood circulation and, just overall having better skin and things like that, which, gives me tons of energy because, if you increase your blood circulation, I mean, you have more oxygen coming in and you just feel better. You breathe better and feel more youthful. And, that's where it's at, because if you can feel your best, I mean, the rest is going to come, right? You'll feel more energized to tackle these other things, because it's not about trying to do it all at the same time. It's having a structure, right? Once you start thinking more clearly, then we can move on to what's your actual purpose in life. Once we have that down, you work on voice, your charisma, eliminating your limiting beliefs, being good at socializing and attracting the opposite sex, because we all want that, guys. We want a strong relationship. We want somebody that we can connect with, right? And we don't want to be alone for the rest of our lives, right? We want a partner, a team player that understands her role, right? And she's not trying to argue with you all the time or have a feminist debate, which is why I'm big on moving abroad. That's probably where I'm going to go next. After the military, I'm going to head out to Asia again because I love the women there. I mean, they're so feminine, supportive, and, they do things because they want to do it. You don't even ask. Like, they want to support you. They want to make life easier for you so that you can provide for her and, give her a good time, and she falls into your frame, into your world. And she's really happy to do that. So I'm not saying you should move abroad, but having all these skills will help you sort of find the right woman for you, so that you can go through all the bad quality you see out there, especially in Canada and, the States. But there are still some good women out there in North America. You just gotta dig a little bit deeper, but once you have those skills, once you're prepared, you're gonna meet the right one. So this is sort of not my thesis, but my sort of idea of what a coach, of the coach I want to be, especially on the dating space, fitness space, and sort of encapsulating that into like a bigger, better transformation. So thanks for watching. See you next time.